You know, we love our digital technology. It allows us to get such incredible information whenever we want it, but there's clearly downsides.
Yeah, I was shocked when I realized that the average American adult is spending 6 hours every day looking at media on screens. And, why does this matter? And we need our computers, we need our smartphones, but sometimes we need to put them away.
So what just happened? Now we're able to connect on a better way.
Absolutely.
There's no more that third person in the room.
Yeah, and you look at these trials where they had two strangers in the same room, and they put a cell phone on the table. It wasn't even one of their cell phones, but it significantly degraded the quality of the conversation.
And we know that spending too much time on, let's say, social media actually imparts structural changes in the brain. How does that work?
Right, so this is a study that showed that people who display what's called excessive social media use or unhealthy levels of social media
use. And
use.
Nobody does that.
Right, exactly. That they showed changes in a part of the brain called the corpus callosum, the connection. The corpus callosum is, as you know, the connection between the two hemispheres of the brain.
So if we're spending too much time, then what are we not doing then with our time?
Right, I think this is such an important point. And we can get wrapped up in the pros and cons of our digital use, but the thing that we should all be able to agree on is if we're spending all of our time staring at our screens, we're not spending our time doing stuff like this, having conversations, learning from other people, and strengthening our bonds with the people we care about.
You know, it seems like we're lonelier even in spite of this thing called social media.
It is kind of a paradox, right? And I would say one thing that we're learning more about is it's not just whether or not you use social media, it's how you use social media. And it's how you use media in general. Is there a way that you can make it an active and focused and mindful use of technology? Because if you can, the data would suggest it's actually can be beneficial. But so many of us, and I know I fall into this trap, we wind up losing our time and losing our thinking in these black holes of digital media.
And to be sure, these are traps for us that are set. They're created to draw us in, and we never can get out.
Absolutely. So I think one thing that people find challenging is how do you actually make these changes? How do you go from feeling like you have this digital addiction to reclaiming your mind? And so we're obviously from different generations. What is it that you do that you find most helpful?
Well, again, I love my technology. I think it's great. We wrote Brainwash because we had access to an unlimited resource of information. But there's some fundamental rules. Number one, no screens at night. Why? Because that blue light can compromise sleep. Sleep is so important. So if you have to, if I have to, I will wear amber glasses at night if I have to look at an email or I'm waiting for something. But that's actually very rare. The other thing is what happens during meals, and two rules. No TV during meals. I mean, I used to love to watch the news, and and suddenly my food was gone. I don't even remember eating it, but I knew all about the terrible things going on in the world. So no TV of any sort during meals, and under no circumstances are there cell phones on the dinner table.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
How about you? What are your points?
Well, for me, the big thing is kind of the hard breaks and the soft breaks. And I found that it's so easy to fall victim to using your phone if it's nearby. So for me, these hard breaks are when I'm spending time with friends, doing my absolute best, leave the phone in the car, put the phone on the other side of the table. Or if I'm trying to have a conversation with you, put the computer away. Because we know that when we see these things, even in our periphery, it can distract us and take away from the quality of our engagement with other people. And then the soft breaks, more little things. So it'd be disabling notifications, making our phones, making our technology less able to steal my attention away. And it's really been a combination of those things through experimentation that has worked best for me.
Actually, hold that thought. I just got a call. I'm going to take this call. No, just kidding. So those are actually really good points. And again, both of our generations are really, may I say, reliant upon technology, and that's a good thing. But I think we now recognize there are some significant risks here, and we have to put this in its place.
Absolutely, and I'd say for a person who's wondering, is this a problem for me? Ask yourself, how would you feel if your phone and computer were taken away for a day? And if you feel really uneasy, that's probably a good indication that it's time to make some changes.
That's right, and this is all about reconnection. We're trying to battle disconnection syndrome, and these devices, as great as they are, disconnect us from each other, and that's not a good thing.
Exactly.